Welcome back to Inside Zamorins, the official podcast of Zamarin Solutions. I'm your host, Amal Kumar, and today we're talking about something that affects all of us, regardless of where we are in life, personal finance, from budgeting and saving and protecting your income and planning for the future. Financial decisions can have a huge impact on our lives. Joining me today is financial planner Ayesha Khan. Ayesha, thank you so much for being here. It's a great time, a great moment, and a great honor to have you here on the show.
Thank you, Amal, for having me. It's my pleasure to be on your podcast, and it's good to be here.
Right. That's again, it's a literal pleasure. Um, so I want to start us off with this question here. You know, not everybody knows you or me, but we want to learn a little bit more about you, right?
No?
So for those who may not know you very well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into financial planning.
So I'm Ayesha Khan, and I've been in financial industry since 1992. So it may seem quite a long time, but I started my journey after university in a bank. And since then, sort of like I've literally done all the roles in the bank, from cashier to management, financial planner, senior financial planner. And when I became more involved in financial planning is when I started managing my own finances um, very early in the my career, or even sort of just after the university, and I realized that how much impact a good financial decision can make over time. So I began to kind of learn about investments, retirement planning, protecting my income, protecting my family. And it really kind of interested me as how can I pursue this further? So I started taking industry qualifications. And then what attracted me to the financial planning specifically was opportunity to work directly with people and understand their goals and help them create a clear strategy um, for their financial future. And I enjoy combining, analytical thinking with relationship building, and financial planning allows me to do that. And I absolutely love my job and what I do and what I add value to my clients future, their goals. I help them achieve their goals. So this is how I got into the financial planning.
I mean, so you had like multiple roles kind of getting into where you are now. Was
Mhm.
there like an exact like moment where you realized that this was the right career path for you?
So I always wanted to be in accountancy and finance, and you know, the destiny always have different plans. I've realized that, and when I started looking for a job, so the first opportunity came along was the banking role, and yeah, the point when it was that, yes, this is going to be my career. Actually, it wasn't even me who realized that I wanted to do this. It's my manager. He was, and I am so grateful to him, and I always pay my gratitude to him having that faith in myself. So I was interviewing a client, just opening accounts, and the way I kind of carried the journey about financial planning, like for now and the future, and how I explain things. And he was listening in the background, and he came around and he said, "What do you want to, progress to? What are your career goals?" And I said, "Okay, I want to be a manager." And he said, "No, you're not going to be a manager. You're going to do this." And I thought, "Oh, okay." And that was it. And he put me through the role. Never had any interviews. Usually, you have to go through, two, three, four kind of stages of interviews. He put me straight on the training course, and he said, "You will be brilliant." And he had that faith. And you know, at every step of that journey, it reminded me that somebody out there has a full faith in what I'm doing, and I need to achieve this, not only for myself, but for him and for the clients I'm going to look after.
Man, he sounds like one heck of a mentor, honestly.
He was just like, oh my gosh. And every single mentor I've had ever since in my career, I've had nothing but a support, praise, and amount of things I have learned in this journey is just immense.
Yeah, but like they basically like they saw you right progress and progress and progress, and then they're like, you know what? I think this person's ready, right? And they kind of like again, there's no interview, nothing, right? Like you said, they just
Hmm.
kind of put you out there, and then you just started rocking and rolling. That's that's so cool. I never heard like an experience like that before.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. And when I got to my first day of training, because it was 6 months training and we had to go through all the exams and things, and everyone was saying, oh my god, the interview was so hard, and we had to do role plays, we had to do this, that, and I'm thinking, sitting there, I better not say anything at all because I've just landed this role in my hand.
yeah, you don't want to mess anything up, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't either because again, you're just starting out with that role, and yeah. Some people they get too I don't say too comfortable, but like some people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, do that," but they come out a little too strong, right?
Yes.
They don't know,
Yeah,
right? So,
I strongly believe that whatever you do, you really need to stay humble and, approachable in your role, because if you're not approachable, client needs to have that trust in you, and you need to build that relationship with them. And if you kind of come across arrogant and, know it all, then it just does not help anybody.
hmm, yeah. Also, I'm thinking, right? You also worked like multiple, like you worked with people from all different backgrounds, and I was wondering actually, what are some of the biggest money lessons you've learned from helping clients over the years?
So, one of the biggest money lessons that I would say I've learned from helping clients over a time is having that consistency. When you are kind of savings or investing, or, whatever decision you make, you need to first of all have the clarity of your goal, what you want to achieve, and then it's all about the discipline, consistency, and start early. Because time is a biggest factor in financial planning. If you say, for example, starting to save for your future goal, you need to start early, even if it's a small. So the amount doesn't matter. It's the time, it's the consistency, it's the discipline.
Mhm.
And
So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, another important lesson, which I would say is very very important, is having the cash flow. Having the cash flow, matters more than most people realize. And building wealth starts from understanding where money's going, where's the money coming from, how much are you spending, and it all aligns with your long term goals.
So basically, what you're saying, like time and consistency, and I feel
Yeah.
like to me, consistency is kind of a hard thing to deal with in life because, like, yeah, I have like plans, and I'm organized to an extent, but not everybody is in the same way or same realm of, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure I do this, this, and this on this day, every single moment of their life, right? That's just not how it works for everybody. And
Right.
I feel like, you had that structure, I mean, early on for I don't know, for years now, right?
Yes.
And I think that I don't know, I feel like I don't want to say it's intimidating. I can't say it's intimidating, but it's the fact of getting started and then keep going is just a challenge, right? I don't know if you ever
Exactly.
dealt with that with a lot of people or not.
Yeah, and this is why I say that smart, you can start small. The amount doesn't matter. It's the commitment that you're going to make it to yourself, having that small amount savings every month. So first thing you probably think about when you're looking into a financial planning and saving for your long-term goal is making sure that you have sufficient emergency money, you have sufficient, short-term planned expenditure money before you commit to long-term goals, because these monies you're putting away for your goal, and you should not be thinking about accessing it if something goes wrong. If your car breaks down or your washing machine breaks down, you should have that fund available, which is called an emergency fund. And when you do start the long-term commitment, this is where I said, even if you start small, it just makes you have that discipline, because you're not going to go to that money because you've got other money saved up.
Okay, so but the thing is, like, there's also a lot of mistakes that happen, right, when making financial decisions. So, like, if you can sit, down with your average person and review their finances, what's one mistake you would find yourself seeing again and again?
See, with financial planning and having finding yourself seeing that mistake that clients make is, if I had to pick one, I think they wait too long to take an action, whether it's for savings, investing, estate planning, or retirement preparation. Many people underestimate the cost of delay. The longer you leave it, it's going to cost you a lot more in later on in your life. Yeah. So small, consistent steps taken early can have much greater impact than trying to catch up later. And that's exactly what my point was in a previous question, that, start small, start early, because time is a great factor in financial planning.
Hmm. Yeah, like, having a secure job, starting a 401k, just making sure I'm thinking for myself, I want to invest in long term, right? Because
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
do short term things too, but you know, I keep putting money. I'm doing that now. I'm putting money aside. I'm saving more than I'm actually spending. So that's the goal for me. Um,
Good. Like to
yeah.
hear that. But at the same time, you need to enjoy yourself as well.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm actually headed to Chicago here in like the next. I think, yeah, I'm heading tomorrow, right? I think I told you about that. I'm
Yes,
gonna go
yes.
spend time with my sister and stuff. And yeah, I've been saving up. I'm gonna go spend. I'm actually gonna go get this perfume cologne, Louis Vuitton. So I've been like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna spend money on this, but it's been like I've been planning for about a year. So like, so think about it, right? Like you gotta think about where you putting your money in and things like that. And
Exactly.
also,
Yes.
I just want to I like to smell good, right? That's one of my things. Like I
Mhm.
like things like that. So it's a
Mhm.
hobby.
Mhm.
But
So
anyway,
what you do, Amal, is to have that luxurious life. First, you need to start planning to save, invest, make that money work hard for you. Then it can pay
yeah,
for your luxurious life.
of course. So let's say someone is listening, right?
Uh-huh.
And they feel overwhelmed by their finances. What's the first thing they should start doing to get back on track?
Look, that stage comes in everyone's lives, almost everyone's lives, where you feel overwhelmed and you think, oh my god, I can't keep all the balls in the air at the same time. What you need to do is step back and see your present situation, where you are and where you want to be, and what is that journey is missing in from where you are and where you want to get to. So say, for example, if you had a situation where you're getting into debt, so your income is not sufficient and your outgoings are more, you need to sit there and do a budget planner, see where are your essential expenditures are, and your discretionary, and what you can actually adjust there. Essentials, you have to pay the bills, you have to pay the mortgage, you have to pay rent if you're renting, you've got to eat. So these are all your essential expenditures. Whereas discretionary could be, you're going on holidays, or you're eating out too many times in a restaurant, buying expensive perfume. Just giving you your example there. So, it's where you can actually control, and then try and you know get back on the track.
Mm. Yeah, and I remember there's one topic that you've mentioned. It's, protecting family income. Um, why is that such an important part of financial planning? And why do people often overlook it? Because me personally, like, I get that you have to think about family as well, but I also think individually, and this might sound a little selfish, I'm not gonna lie, but I just wanted to know why.
Okay, so why is that such an important part of financial planning? Is because every good financial decision starts with understanding your current situation. Before you create a strategy for savings, investing, reducing debt, or planning for your retirement, you need to have a clear picture where you are today. And then, unfortunately, many people overlook this step is because they feel overwhelming and uncomfortable. But it is, and life gets busy. I get that. And it's easy to kind of review the bank account and say, okay, I'll deal with this later. But then again, if you address the situation early on, it just gives you that clarity and it creates the confidence. And more importantly, it's your mental health as well. If you are kind of worrying about your finances, it's causing you stress. Your well-being is already on the stake, and then it's kind of a snowball effect. So it is very, very important that, you think about, protecting yourself, protecting your finances, protecting your legacy. And I know you're single at the moment. Would you want to be dependent on your parents? Would you not like want to be independent? So, you ask those questions to yourself and start planning.
Hmm. So it's basically just, again, a long-term idea and decision for, just to be safe.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what I'm getting at here. So many of our listeners are business owners, right? They're freelancers and professionals building their own careers.
Uh-huh.
What financial advice would you give someone whose income isn't always predictable?
Very good question, Amo, because so many people are, business owners, as you say, and the income when it's not predictable. What my biggest advice would be here is build a flexibility in your financial planning. Instead of budgeting based on the best month, create your spending plan on sort of like an average monthly income rather than having, okay, this month I've earned $10,000. Let me, this would be my best month every month. Good if it is, but sometimes business can be up and down. It can fluctuate. So build on a basic um month, and then average, expected income, and treat anything above that as your opportunity to straighten, strengthening your finances. And what I mean by that, if your outgoings are, say, for example, $4,000 a month, then one month you've earned 10,000. What you need to do is set aside that money for rainy day. So that comes back again to the emergency fund, short-term planning. And this will give you a certainty, and again, your mental well-being, the stress level will be low. So it's all about planning.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that response because it makes you think, okay, this is my best month, but then you're gonna know, like you said, it fluctuates. It's not always gonna be a great month. So you kind of
Yeah.
average it out to where you know it would be, and then you kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do this at this pace and this pace and this pace, and you're just kind of like, like you just,
Yes,
yeah, that's
because
amazing.
your spending will be always what, like your set bills, and your essential bills and things will be exactly the same. And if you work out what every month you need to spend, then you kind of budget yourself with the income as well.
Hmm. So I as Zamorins, we're always interested in how technology is shaping industries. I want to know, how are technology and AI changing the way people manage their finances and the way advisors work with clients?
hmm So technology and AI are transforming both, individuals as well as advisors. Um, for individuals, it's kind of how people are managing their finances and how advisors are serving their clients. So technology has made financial information more accessible than ever. People can kind of track their spending, they can monitor their investments, everything on your phone now, isn't it? Say automated savings and access to even financial education. You just ask Google and, and you just kind of get the answer. For us as advisors, AI technology allows us to work more efficiently, and by automating, routine tasks where we were used to spending hours and hours doing them, administrative duties where we were analyzing the data. Now having, AI and technology is kind of streamlining that administrative process. So what that means to an individual, it gives us more time to focus on our clients, building that relationship, and having understanding their goals, having that discussion, because we have technology.
Right. So basically, I mean, technology's evolved, right? Especially from like 90s till now. And I think one common factor is you still have to have that bond with your client. You still have to make
Exactly.
something personal, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
always been like the root of it's trust, really. That's something
Absolutely.
that I figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's financial planning is still fundamentally about people, how you touch their lives, how you help them achieve their goals, where you help them understanding, um, you know, any of the questions they have, the process, and it's all about understanding clients' values, their concerns, and their long-term aspirations, and how you can help them with every single scenario which I've just mentioned. So yeah, personal touch will always be there, but AI and technology does definitely help us in doing our job more efficiently as well.
Is there any challenges that you have with the modern technology and financial planning?
Um,
I know this is a little bit of a curveball because I know I said you a list of questions before, but
yeah.
I'm generating something here.
For personally, for me, challenges is about learning any new thing for anybody. So when you are not from that background and you're like a people's person like I am, yes, there will be challenges, but you learn, you evolve. And how much we have evolved. Before we didn't have computers, and then the internet and phones, mobile phones. So how did we progress? And having those challenges will always be there. It's how you evolve that matters.
I'm thinking, right, there's people from different generations. Some people are still old school, right? Some people don't like to use their phones. Some people like to use paper, like physical stuff. And you know, some people don't think about going to a financial planner. Some people just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this by myself," and they kind of do it in a hard way, and that's what they're used to. But I feel like there can be, I don't want to say discrepancies, but there could be some things where you don't cover everything, right? And I feel like in this day and age, efficiency is a key.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And and
yeah,
and
go ahead.
also, yes, the tools are there and they want to do it by themselves, but how much have they studied you know the legislation? They change all the time. Are you keeping up with that? The allowances, the tax efficiency, how much tax you're paying, all the different kind of scenarios where we can help client achieve, the maximum returns and to save the tax. So all those kind of things come under the financial planning. It's just not okay. Let's just do that online and invest. But there are other investment tools that you may have, or other tax efficiencies that we can probably help you with. So a financial planner does play a key role in individuals' lives.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I just want to ask a few more questions, some quick questions before we wrap up here. Are there any like, let's say, I know I asked about challenges, but I'm saying like challenges within your work life on financial planning when dealing with clients. Like, is there something that's very common that you wouldn't think that would be within your line of work?
So common in a sense where clients are facing the problems, or you're
Uh,
talking technology now.
like, like something that you'd probably expect from people to ask you, but they don't really think about it. It's like some like you'd think like, oh, like I wonder if this client, like you wouldn't think I wonder, but a client would like come present something to you, or like a question or like something that they're dealing with, but they don't actually, because you can see it within like what they're going through, but they're not actually like presenting it to you. Do you not understand what I'm saying? Or I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a bad question or
So no, absolutely, because sometimes what happens is I tell my clients that when you do go to a doctor, you tell them about a problem, and you need to be very honest with them for them to diagnose you with a illness, or treat you. Um, that's exactly how we are. If you
Mm,
don't tell us everything, we cannot help you, and half information sometimes cannot give you the right results.
yeah.
So, it is very, very important to be transparent. People do come, okay, I just want to invest this money. Yeah, but, why do you
Yeah.
want to invest this money? What plans do you have for it? How long you want to invest this money? What risk you want to accept? Do you know what risks are? Whether it's inflation risk, investment risk, or accessing the capital. So there are so many things that we touch upon. And before even investing, have you thought about protecting your family? Have you thought about protecting your income? If you are off sick from work tomorrow, you've got no income coming in, how are you going to invest this money? Yeah. So
Yeah.
something they may not think about, but they just have this vision, tunnel vision. This is what I want to do. But then there are other things, the factors that matters in financial planning, because your
So,
income is the pillar. If your income was taken away, how will you pay your bills? How would you, pay for your food, your car, your petrol?
so basically what you're saying is that when certain clients come in, right? And again, like the thing is like they're not, let's say they're not really open-minded. They're more honed in on one thing. The thing is you have to look at all the other aspects that are within your life, right? That
Mhm,
also
mhm.
affect your financial planning and decisions. That's remarkable.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask another question about Xamarin Solutions. So basically, I don't, you know what we do, right? It's, like the technology, everything, right? Do you have any extra advice on how we could, let's say, basically, how can we benefit, like, for not even just Xamarin, like any other company that's within the same line of work? Do you have any advice about that? Like in terms of like making, building client relationships, profit, anything regarding those lines?
See, building relationship is the key thing for bringing the profits in, right? So it's about building relationship, what you're offering. One thing I've learned in my job role, which I think it goes for with everybody, and I totally probably know that you offer exactly the same thing, because me and Lata, your mom, we work closely together and as accountability partners, and we always agree that to give more than what we make as an income. So if we are kind of giving a product or a service, we always go step more ahead than just, okay, this is what we got to do and that's it. So what we are doing here is giving more to our clients, and they appreciate that. And we work on a recommendation basis. My business is built up on recommendation. My clients recommend me, and my colleagues, my accountant. So I get referrals from everywhere, and I believe that that's exactly how your business is running. by referrals. And, people buy people. Product is another thing. It's what you are, what you're giving in return.
Right. And
I don't know if
Xamarin's right.
that answers your question, but
No,
yeah.
no, no, it does, it does. So basically at Xamarin's right, the main goal is just to help people. We want to
Yeah.
help our community. We want it better. That's the same thing that you want, right?
Yes.
You want people to be
Absolutely.
smart about the decisions that they're making, making a better community. And that's exactly the same mission that we have.
Mm.
It's just, when we're having a business, right? There's other factors that need to be supported, right? When you're talking to clients, and because there's a lot of things behind the scenes, right? Like, okay, how do we make this more efficient with this within this application, or okay, what are we gonna do with this when this playground does this, right? There's a lot of different things here,
Yeah.
especially with like software application, like building things, right? There's always something
Yes.
new, always a new challenge to take on each
Mm.
day. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's the same thing with you. When you're dealing with new clients, there's always new problems or new ways to solve things. That's
Yes.
something that's beautiful.
I never get bored in my job because every scenario is different. Every client situation is different. And that's where the excitement comes, And you learn more because I don't have answers to every single question or, every single problem. And this is where I go out and, I say, yes, I don't know, but I will find out. And this is how you develop yourself as well. And I know, Zamorins and you guys are very, very interested in keeping people safe with the Parks app. And, the way you kind of are so passionate about that, I absolutely love it. And it's not about all about, profits or earning money. It's about keeping community safe for yourselves. And same thing with myself. It's about making sure that my clients are protected. My clients are, they've protected their wealth. They've worked hard for this money. So, let's protect that.
So, if listeners, take away just one lesson from today's conversation, what would you want it to be?
So one lesson I would say that, everybody should take from this conversation is that make sure that, you and your family are protected, your income is protected. And no matter where you are in life, you start early and start small, be consistent, be disciplined, and, plan ahead.
Hmm, I like that.
Mhm.
So, before we wrap up, where can people connect with you? Learn more about your work,
Um,
access any resources you'd like to share.
Yeah, so if I've shared my website with you, all my resources are on there. So if you can just use my website, my contact details are on there, and my clients' testimonials are on there. Not that I've not even put half of them on there on my website because then people will be just reading that. But it is a very good website. You can learn a lot. There are calculators for your future retirement planning and things like that, what pot you have, how much you can expect as a retirement income. So there's loads of information on my website. So please share, and if I can help anybody, it will be my pleasure.
Well, Aisha, thank you again for joining me today and sharing your insights. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. I hope you had
Me,
a great time too. I mean, again, I
me
just
too.
learned so much from you today, and I'm appreciative of that. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Amal, for having me. It was a great pleasure.
And for those who are listening, thank you for tuning in on Inside Zamorins. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.